Hi there, welcome back to another video by The Guiding Hands. As always, my name is Jing Young, and this is the second part of our Introduction to French video series. Today, we are going to be talking about present tense verb conjugation, or as it's known, the present tense. Hence its name, one would use this tense when talking about things that are occurring in the present moment. In English, an example would be, I like you. To start off, we first have to talk about pronouns. In French, the usage of pronouns is incredibly important in everyday use, including verb conjugation. There are 9 main pronouns, which are je, tu, il, elle, on, nous, vous, il, and elle. When conjugating verbs, these pronouns determine the ending of the verb in a given sentence. Though these pronouns may seem like a lot, pronouns il, elle, and on, as well as il avec an s and elle avec an s, create verbs with the same conjugations. In terms of what these pronouns mean, je refers to I, tu to you, informally, il to he, elle to she, on to one, nous to we, vous to you, formally, il with an s to they, masculine, and elle with an s to they, feminine. Typically, French verbs can be categorized into 3 groups, differentiated by their endings. ER verbs, IR verbs, and other verbs. There is also a 4th group, composed of irregular verbs that do not follow normal conjugation conventions. Within the 3 regular verb groups, conjugations occur by dropping the verb endings, whether it is ER, IR, or RE, and adding an ending that corresponds to the relevant pronoun and verb type. As you can see in this example, to say je mange, meaning I eat, you would drop the ER ending. You would drop the ending, which is ER, and since it's a verb group using the pronoun, you would say the ending is E. So let's talk about ER conjugations. To say I like you, you would use the verb aimer, meaning to like. And in order to conjugate this verb, you would take note that je, referring to I, is the correct pronoun to use. Moreover, you would also note that this verb belongs to the ER group of verbs. So you drop the ER ending from aimer, adding the ending E, which is the relevant pronoun to je within the ER group. As a result, you get je t'aime. Now let's talk about IR verbs. So as you can see, these are the respective conjugations for each pronoun. To say we are finishing, you would use the verb finir, meaning to finish. In order to conjugate this verb, you would take note that nous, referring to we, is the correct pronoun to use. Moreover, you would note that this verb belongs to the IR group of verbs. So you drop the IR ending from finir, adding the ending ISSONS, which is the relevant pronoun to nous within the IR group, as you can see here. And as a result, you get nous finissons, meaning we are finishing. And now let's talk about the third group. Conjugations. So these verbs are a little bit different, and you'll see as we move on. So for example, we could say, they sell fish, as an example sentence. And to say they sell fish, you would use the verb vendre, meaning to sell. In order to conjugate this verb, you would take note that il, with an s, referring to they, is the correct pronoun to use. Moreover, you would note that this verb belongs to the third group of verbs, as it doesn't end with er or ir. So you drop the re ending from vendre, adding the ending ent, as you can see in this chart. So you drop the re ending from vendre, adding the ending ent, which is the relevant pronoun to il within the third group. As a result, you get ils vendent de poisson, meaning they sell fish. Now let's talk briefly about irregular verbs. The main ones are aller, faire, avoir, être, and savoir. They mean to go, to do, to have, to be, and to know, respectively. Though there are others, we will focus on these ones for the time being. So these verbs, as you will see, do not follow the typical, or as I should say, standard conjugation approach that most verbs follow, and thus they're called irregular verbs. And so these are the other two irregular verbs that I mentioned. So let's use an example. So for example, if you were saying you have a car to your friend, you would use the verb avoir, meaning to have. In order to conjugate this verb, you would take note that tu, referring to you, informally, is the correct pronoun to use. You'd use the informal you pronoun since, as I said, you're talking to your friend. In order to conjugate this verb, you would, as I said, use tu, which is the correct pronoun to use, and conjugate according to that verb, according to that pronoun. And since this is an irregular verb, you conjugate the verb differently, not following pre-existing verb conventions. Thus you get tu as une voiture, meaning you have a car. And we can see the avoir conjugation convention in this chart. And as I said, you get tu as une voiture, meaning you have a car. Okay, well, I hope that you learned plenty, and I hope that you can kind of understand and see how we can kind of conjugate verbs in the present tense. Now, as I said, since these are in the present tense, you would use these to say something in the present moment. And yeah, this video will kind of offer a brief insight into the many conjugations that you will have to endure in your French journey. Well, that'll be just about it for this video. I hope that you learned something and perhaps enjoyed the video. Merci et au revoir.